Thank you for being here. In a world full of noise and distractions, the fact that you've chosen to spend these quiet moments with us means more than words can express. May this video be a gentle reminder of the wisdom already within you. Take a deep breath and enjoy this journey inward. Peaceful listening. The sacred hour, why waking up between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. could be the universe calling you. Have you ever found yourself suddenly awake between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. with no clear reason why? The room is quiet. The world outside is still cloaked in darkness. You glance at the clock, wondering why your body insists on interrupting its rest at such an odd hour. Maybe you dismiss it, turn over, and try to fall back asleep. Or maybe you reach for your phone, hoping a scroll through social media will lull you back into slumber. But what if that interruption wasn't random? What if, just for a moment, you entertained the idea that something greater was trying to get your attention? In many ancient traditions, especially within Buddhist teachings, this time window is not considered trivial. It is revered. It's known as the sacred hour, a time when the veil between the physical and spiritual worlds is at its thinnest, and when the universe, with all its mysteries, becomes whisper close. Buddhist monks and sages have deliberately risen during these hours for centuries, drawn not by habit, but by the quiet, potent stillness that seems to open portals within and beyond. This isn't about superstition. It's not a ghost story or a strange spiritual warning. It's about presence, alignment, and awakening. In this modern world filled with distractions, many of us are out of sync with ourselves, with nature, and with the deeper rhythms of life. We chase peace in productivity, meaning in consumption, and energy in caffeine. But what if the peace, the meaning, and the energy we crave have been quietly waiting for us in the stillness of the early morning hours? This article is for the seekers, the ones who have felt there must be more to life than rushing through the day and collapsing into sleep. If you've ever woken at 3:30 a.m. with a restless mind, or a strange sense of clarity, or even an inexplicable calm, you are not alone. You are not broken. In fact, you might just be answering a call few are brave enough to heed. What follows isn't just a guide. It's an invitation. An invitation to shift how you see those early wake-up calls. An invitation to transform restlessness into ritual. An invitation to step into your spiritual clarity. Through a blend of Buddhist wisdom, personal insight, and timeless stories, we'll explore 3 life-changing things you can do if you wake up between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. But more importantly, we'll uncover why these hours matter and how embracing them could open a new chapter in your spiritual journey. So next time your eyes open before dawn, don't roll over. Rise. Because the universe just might be waiting to speak to you. Part 1, The Power of Stillness, How Silence Between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. Can Awaken Your Inner Truth. There's something hauntingly beautiful about 3 a.m. The streets are silent. No cars, no voices, no to-do lists whispering in your head. It's just you and the stillness. And yet, for many people, this stillness feels unsettling, like a void they don't know how to sit with. We've grown so used to noise, so addicted to stimulation, that when silence arrives, it feels foreign, even threatening. But in Buddhist teachings, silence is not emptiness. It is fullness. It is presence. And the silence of the sacred hour, between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., is unlike any other. This time of day has long been regarded by monks and spiritual seekers as a window to the divine, a sacred doorway to the self. They believe that during these early hours, the mind is at its purest, free from the residue of daily distractions. And in that stillness, something ancient begins to stir. Instead of checking your phone or fighting to fall back asleep, try sitting up in bed or on the floor, spine straight, eyes closed. Let your hands rest gently on your knees. Do nothing but breathe. Inhale slowly. Feel the coolness of the air entering your body. Exhale gently. Sense the tension leaving your chest, your shoulders, your mind. This isn't about achieving some transcendent state. It's about being available to the moment. Available to yourself. In this stillness, you may find that the thoughts you've been avoiding all day come forward, your unspoken desires, your fears, your longings. Don't run from them. Let them rise. Witness them. There's clarity in witnessing. A story of stillness, May's awakening. May was a high-powered corporate executive living in Tokyo. Every day was a rush of meetings, decisions, deadlines, and expectations. But at night, something strange began happening. She would wake up, like clockwork, at 3:15 a.m. At first, she resented it. She thought it was stress or insomnia. But after reading about Buddhist monks rising during these same hours, she became curious. One morning, instead of fighting the wakefulness, she got up, lit a candle, and sat in silence. Just 5 minutes. What came was unexpected: tears. Then memories. Then a calm she hadn't felt in years. It was as if her soul had been waiting for her to stop long enough to hear it speak. Within weeks, she made a morning ritual of these early hours. Eventually, her entire approach to life changed, not by force, but by quiet understanding. The silence became her sanctuary. Silence is not the absence of something, May later wrote in her journal. It is the presence of everything that truly matters. Scientific echoes of Buddhist wisdom. Modern science is beginning to validate what Buddhist monks have practiced for centuries. Research shows that early morning meditation enhances brain function, lowers cortisol, the stress hormone, and reprograms negative thought patterns. 1 minute of stillness at dawn can be worth an hour of rest meditation during the day. In Buddhism, they call this the moment when your higher consciousness is most accessible, not clouded by ego, not hijacked by habit. This is when inspiration flows, when you remember your purpose, when your inner voice is loud enough to be heard. So the next time you wake between 3 o'clock and 5 a.m., don't roll over. Don't numb the discomfort. Sit with yourself. Sit with your breath. Because sometimes, the deepest answers come not through striving, but through stillness. Part 2, Speaking Life into Your Reality, the Power of Gratitude and Affirmation at Dawn. Once the silence has settled into your bones and your breath has found its rhythm, something beautiful begins to unfold, a sense of emotional spaciousness. You are no longer rushing to do, you are simply present to be. And this is the perfect moment to speak directly to your soul. In Buddhist philosophy, gratitude is not just a virtue, it is a vibrational frequency. It's one of the highest energetic states you can embody, capable of transforming your mood, your health, even your destiny. But this isn't about saying thank you once a year at a holiday dinner. This is about waking up, placing your hands together, and whispering into the quiet dawn. I am grateful for this breath. I am grateful for this life, even if it's imperfect. I am grateful for everything that is unfolding, even when I don't understand it. When you do this between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., something profound happens. Your mind is not fully awake, and yet it is alert. Your subconscious, the hidden engine behind your habits, beliefs, and reactions, is wide open. Whatever you say in this moment sinks deep. This is why Buddhist monks begin their mornings not with to-do lists, but with mantras of thankfulness and intentional speech. The unseen magic of affirmations. After you speak gratitude, you can take it a step further with positive affirmations. These are not empty words. They are declarations of the life you're choosing to create. Say things like, I am peaceful. I am enough. I am open to abundance. I am aligned with the wisdom of the universe. Do not worry if you don't believe these words at first. Speak them anyway. The purpose of affirmations is not to pretend you're perfect, it's to train your mind to stop rehearsing limitation. And remember, timing matters. At 3:30 a.m., your mind is fertile soil. Every thought, every word, is a seed. What do you want to plant? A personal story, Jonah's turning point. Jonah was a schoolteacher facing burnout. Waking up at 4 a.m. had become his curse. No matter what he tried, melatonin, podcasts, white noise, his eyes snapped open in the dark. It only made his exhaustion worse. One day, he stumbled upon a Buddhist teaching that reframed everything. "You're not waking up. You're being called." He decided to try something different. He sat in silence for a few minutes, then whispered, "I am strong enough to change. I am grateful for the chance to try again. Peace is within me, not outside." He felt silly. But he did it again the next morning. And the next. Within weeks, Jonah wasn't just sleeping better, he was living better. He began to notice small moments of joy again. He smiled more. He reconnected with his purpose. The sacred hour had become his reset button. "Those words I whispered in the dark," Jonah later told a friend, "became the way I spoke to myself during the day." Why this works, even for skeptics. If this sounds a little mystical for your taste, consider this. Psychologists confirm that morning thoughts shape daily emotions. What you tell yourself when you wake up sets the tone for how your brain filters reality. So imagine the difference between waking with, "Ugh, another day," versus, "Today, I receive whatever lessons come with grace." Buddhist teachers believe this early time is an energetic portal where we get to shape our karma, not just react to it. In their view, every word has weight, especially those spoken aloud. So speak wisely. Speak kindly. Speak as if the universe is listening. Because perhaps it is. Part 3, Water as a Ritual, Drinking with Intention and Aligning the Body, Mind, Spirit. So you've sat in silence. You've whispered gratitude into the stillness. You've spoken affirmations into the quiet spaces of your soul. Now, it's time to honor the body, the sacred vessel that carries your mind and spirit through this life. And what better way to begin than with the most ancient, life-giving element of all, water. In Buddhist wisdom, water is far more than hydration. It is a symbol of purity, transformation, and flow. And drinking warm water between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. with intention can become a ritual that cleanses not just the body, but the energy you carry into the day. Forget cold water from a fridge. Forget the jolt of caffeine. Warm water, gentle, soothing, neutral, is the quiet companion of the sacred hour. Why warm water matters. Warm water is like kindness to your internal system. It wakes the body gently. It stimulates digestion, flushes toxins, and releases stagnation from the previous day. In both Buddhist and Ayurvedic traditions, it's the preferred way to re-enter the physical world after deep rest. But the real power lies not just in the water. It lies in how you drink it. Turn drinking into meditation. Imagine holding a ceramic or copper cup in your hands. You feel the warmth seep into your palms. You pause. You close your eyes. You breathe. Then, before the first sip, you ask yourself, what do I want to bring into today? What energy do I want to embody? What am I ready to release? Maybe the answer is peace. Maybe it's courage. Maybe it's clarity in a situation that's been weighing on you. Whatever it is, imagine that intention infusing into the water. And with every slow, mindful sip, imagine it flowing through your veins, not just physically, but spiritually. You're not just nourishing your cells. You're setting the vibration of your entire being. A simple ritual, a powerful shift. This ritual isn't long. It doesn't need incense or chants or ceremony. It just needs your presence. This is something I began doing after reading about a Buddhist monk who said, "When I drink water with anger, I feed the fire. But when I drink water with mindfulness, I put the fire out." Those words stayed with me. I realized how often I rushed through even the most basic things, eating, drinking, even breathing, without any sense of sacredness. But the moment I began treating my morning glass of water as a form of prayer, my mornings changed. My energy changed. I started using a small, handmade ceramic cup just for that moment. It wasn't fancy, but it became my cup of stillness. And somehow, drinking water went from being automatic to being a grounding anchor, reminding me that life is made up of tiny, intentional acts. A story of healing, Asha's practice. Asha, a woman recovering from grief after losing her partner, began this ritual during a time when nothing seemed to help. She couldn't meditate. She couldn't journal. But she could drink water. Every morning, she would sit on her balcony, hold her warm cup, and whisper, "May peace return to me. May I remember love without drowning in pain. May I carry strength with softness." At first, she cried through it. But eventually, the tears gave way to peace. And over time, her ritual became her refuge. "Water saved me," she once said. "Not because it was magic, but because I finally slowed down enough to feel my own heart again." Drinking warm water with intention is not about being perfect. It's about being present. It's about remembering that your body, too, is sacred. And how you treat it first thing in the morning shapes the way you move through the day. In Buddhist thought, water carries energy. So the next time you wake early, hold your cup with reverence. Whisper your intention. And let every sip be a quiet vow to start again, gently and mindfully. Part 4, The First Light, Stepping Outside to Receive the Energy of the Universe. By now, the darkness of the sacred hour is beginning to lift. A faint blush touches the horizon. The first whispers of daylight stir the air. This is not just the beginning of a new day, it is a cosmic invitation. In Buddhist teachings, the early morning hours, just before sunrise, are seen as energetically pure. The air is rich with prana or chi, the vital life force that animates all living beings. This is the time monks step barefoot onto the earth, not just for ritual, but to literally merge their energy with nature itself. And you can do the same. It's simple. You don't need to chant. You don't need to do anything at all. Just step outside. Stand on your balcony, in your garden, or by an open window if you live in a city. If possible, let your bare feet touch the ground. Let your skin feel the breeze. Let your breath absorb the purity of the morning. You are not separate from the natural world. You are not a mind trapped in a body. You are part of something vast, sacred, and alive. The universe is speaking. Are you listening? There's an ancient belief in Buddhist and Vedic philosophy that the wind before sunrise carries whispers from the divine. Messages, answers, clarity, they travel in the silence of dawn. But only those who are still enough to listen, receive them. You don't need to hear voices. You don't need to see visions. But what if you just stood there, in quiet curiosity, and asked, "What truth do I need to hear today? What is the next right step for me? What is trying to awaken in me?" You might be surprised at what rises. Sometimes it's not an answer, it's a feeling. A gentle nudge. A word that echoes in your chest. A memory that stirs your heart. The universe speaks in subtle languages. Grounding, a forgotten medicine. Have you ever heard of earthing or grounding? Science is finally catching up with what monks and sages have practiced for thousands of years. Standing barefoot on the earth has profound effects on your physical and emotional health. When you connect directly with the earth, you absorb negative ions that help neutralize stress, reduce inflammation, and stabilize mood. It's not just poetic, it's biological. Grounding has been shown to improve sleep, boost immune function, and enhance clarity. And beyond science, there is something spiritually humbling about standing in the dirt, barefoot, looking up at the sky as the world awakens. It's a quiet reminder. You are not just a mind full of problems. You are a soul with roots. You belong to this earth. A story of transformation, Isaac's walk into the light. Isaac was a 62-year-old widower. After his wife passed away, mornings became unbearable. The quiet of dawn only amplified his grief. But one morning, he couldn't sleep. At 4:45 a.m., he stepped outside, barefoot, just to get air. He stood under the stars. The world was quiet. And for the first time in months, so was his mind. He began doing this every morning, no goal, no plan, just presence. Eventually, he began to speak to his wife out loud under the morning sky. He cried. He laughed. He prayed. And little by little, the pain softened. The grief didn't disappear, but it changed. It stopped being a prison and became a form of devotion. The mornings became holy for me, Isaac shared. Because that's when I remembered I was still alive. The true power of the sacred hour. Most people sleep through this time, unaware of the immense power it holds. But you are waking up. Not just physically, but spiritually. This isn't about a new habit. It's not about productivity or spiritual performance. It's about remembering. Remembering that life is made of small sacred choices. Remembering that silence is powerful. That your breath is holy. That your body is wise. That the earth wants to hold you. That your voice creates your reality. That light is returning, within and without. So, step outside. Breathe it in. Let the universe speak to you. Let the morning bless you. Let yourself rise. Conclusion, the ripple effect, how sacred mornings can transform your life. So here you are. You've journeyed through the quiet power of stillness, the sacred strength of gratitude, the intention behind a single sip of water, and the healing energy of early morning air. These are not just practices. They are portals, gentle openings into a deeper way of living. Most people rush through their mornings, dragging yesterday into today, already overwhelmed before the sun has even risen. But if you're waking between 3 o'clock and 5 a.m., consider this. You are being invited. Not punished. Not disturbed. Invited. Invited to slow down. To listen. To reconnect. To align with a truth so deep, so ancient, it can only be heard in the silence before the world awakens. This is not about becoming a monk or chasing spiritual perfection. It's about remembering that you already have access to peace, clarity, and power within you. Always. The sacred hour just removes the noise long enough for you to feel it again. And here's the most beautiful part. What begins in the quiet hours ripples through the rest of your life. When you sit in silence before sunrise, your mind is calmer at noon. When you speak gratitude at 4 a.m., you are more patient in traffic. When you set intentions with warm water, you make clearer decisions by sunset. When you step outside and feel the earth beneath your feet, you carry that grounding into every conversation. The shift is subtle, but unmistakable. Over time, you'll notice that you no longer start your day with stress, but with sacredness. You'll stop reacting to life and start responding from a place of inner alignment. The anxious mind becomes a listening heart. The hurried breath becomes a conscious presence. And suddenly, life doesn't feel so heavy. Because you're not just getting through the day, you're meeting the day with intention. A final reflection, your soul already knows. There's an old Buddhist saying, "The teacher appears when the student is ready." Maybe this sacred hour is your teacher. Maybe these early awakenings are not random, they are reminders. Maybe your soul has always known the way, and now it's calling you home. So the next time you wake up between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., pause. Don't fight it. Don't scroll. Don't numb it away. Instead, remember this. Sit in silence. Speak gratitude and truth. Drink with intention. Step outside and receive. These small, sacred acts are not about changing your life overnight. They're about returning, again and again, to what matters. And in that return, your life will change. Not because of what you do, but because of who you become when you do it. This is the power of the sacred hour. And it's already yours. If this resonates with you, consider starting your own sacred morning ritual. It doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be real. Share this with someone who wakes up early and doesn't know why. Maybe they're being called too. And if you're ready to live more mindfully, one sacred morning at a time, you are not alone. You're awakening, and that's a beautiful thing.